Namaste, all you mystical minds. Welcome back. So this is our Ascendant reading, Ascendant Moon sign reading for the August full moon in Aquarius, in Dhanishtha Nakshatra. If you haven't checked out that video, I'll share the link in the description below so that you can check it out because it's a lot of energy. I wanted to make it a smaller video. It goes for about 15-20 minutes this month. Lots of information about what's going on. So let's jump straight into it. Here we can see this is an Aries chart. So we've got for Aries ascendants, this is happening in your 11th house of friends, groups, profit and gain, sisters and older siblings, goals and aspirations. Now, I just want to say before jumping in, all of this energy for all different ascendants, it's going to be themes around values, truth, leaderships and the heart energy. So specifically for Aries ascendants here happening in your 11th house, questioning your beliefs and your values, the truth, your inner truth and what you're noticing out in the world in groups of people, you know, for humanity. How are you feeling on the whole? Things around profits and gains, you know, abundance and wealth that you're receiving. Is there truth and value in that? Your friendships and the groups that you're experiencing. Are you feeling that it's authentic communication and is it being spoken through with the heart connection? For Taurus ascendants and moon signs, this is happening in your 10th house of career and vocation. Status, power, house of action, achievements and good deeds. So you'll notice that perhaps around the things that you're doing or the work that you're putting out into the world, you might be questioning at this time, have you got your heart in it? The things that you're doing, are you just doing a job for the sake of doing it, or have you got special gifts and talents and creations that you want to be putting out that will be better serving the community and humanity as a whole, as opposed to, you know, we're asking ourselves at this time, the structures that we've got in the world and in place, that if you don't agree with it but you just kind of go along with it, is it feeling like are you going along with it because of a fear-based system? Are you feeling that you might not financially be able to make it by if you're not working alongside with the structures that are set up in place? And taking the time this month for Taurus and moon sign ascendants to take a step back and go, okay, how can I restructure this to use more heart energy here? For Gemini ascendants and moon signs, this is happening in your 9th house. Wisdom of the father, wisdom in general, guru, religion, philosophy, long journeys, the law, teachers, higher education, and good fortune. This is happening for you here. Now, asking ourselves about the wisdom of your teachers at this time. Perhaps, you know, the religious beliefs that you've got. I know I had a conversation with my partner about religious cultural beliefs that are run in his family, and just going, how do you feel about this? Does this feel like it still rings true to you at this time? Because there was some challenging conversations coming up around something around that. And again, the law, maybe you feel like, and we've seen so much of this in the last 2 years, but specifically just using it for this energy for the Gemini ascendants and moon signs, that, you know, do you feel that these laws and energies out in the world need to be reviewed? And your own law system that you work on, I think, is really important to look at this time. For Cancer ascendants and moon signs, we're in the 8th house here of mystical nature, psychic ability, psychology, delays, fears, misfortune. It can also be themes around death, longevity, inheritance. So we're taking a look at, you know, these energies of leadership and the heart energy. So you might find that if there are things happening at this time, or you're noticing whether it's happening to yourself or people around you, and there's themes around misfortune or obstacles that are coming up, it's that point of delays and fears, and just noticing where are you allowing yourself to fall into the fear and out of the heart, I think is such an important point for Cancer ascendants at this particular time, because you're really going to feel quite strong with this moon in the 11th house sitting with Jupiter. You know, the belief system around these things and your fears is really going to be the strong point this month. For Leo ascendants and moon signs, and I just want to share really quickly with the Cancer in the 8th house energy, that longevity or fears around death, like I shared in the video talking about the 5 kleshas and that fear of death, that last klesha. is going to be a big one. And I think if you're feeling connected to that, go and look into what the 5 kleshas are, and these 5 things that stop humans from growing on the spiritual path will be big for Cancer ascendants at this time. Leo ascendants and moon signs, 7th house, we've got marriage partners, quality of the married life, love, passion, social nature, business partnerships, partnerships out in the world that are opposite to ourself, opposite to the 1st house. So here we're looking at our relationships. We're questioning our values in relationship, whether it be with our business partners or our spouse. How can we use leadership in this energy, but from the heart, as opposed to pride, ego, narcissism coming into it and pushing our beliefs on other people. You know, noticing what feels true for you in all of these things. And it might be a time to have a conversation with your partner and say, hey, you know, these themes in our life are no longer true for me. How about we create a new set of rules that brings us together as a whole? Because when you think about it, when you come together in a relationship, whether it's business or spouse partnerships, when, let's say that you met in your 20s, the people that you're going to be in your 80s is going to be completely different, and there's going to be a lot of transformation on that road. So maybe this weekend it's a good conversation time for listening and sharing and creating and destructing belief patterns around those themes of partnership. For Virgo ascendants and moon signs, this is happening in your 6th house. So we've got Virgo, the significator of the 6th house here. Service, detail work, medicine, catering, pets, enemies, disease, effort and hard work, and debts. So the service that you're putting out in the world, you know, similar to the 10th house kind of energy, the work that you do, the details that you're doing, do you feel aligned with it? Is there value in it? Do you feel that it's serving humanity? Are you just doing it for the sake of doing it? Are you feeling bogged down? Can you put more heart into the things that you're doing? You know, let's say, for example, the medicine that you're using, you might be questioning, and I sometimes I wonder whether I should share these things, but I get like little messages in my head that pop through intuitively. The vaccine debate that's going on at the moment, that might be a trigger word for some, but you might be questioning, okay, can we take a look at different avenues and open-minded thinking, out of the box ways of dealing with medicine so that we can support the greater whole of humanity, as opposed to this debate at the moment where you can see in the world that it's almost this polarity of the 5D shift that's happening. So I always try to look at it from this perspective of coming back into the light, as opposed to going into our shadow self, where we feel like our ego has to get involved and we've got to criticize someone else for not being aligned with our beliefs or threatening our state of belief. So I think this is a really important time for being open to themes around that. And it might not just be that, it could be other things around enemies. Maybe you're having a disagreement with someone and going, oh man, I really hate the way that person thinks or something, and just seeing them as a human being and noticing that, you know, they've had different experiences and that's how their idea system or their beliefs or their values has structured, and it will be completely different to your own, and just going into witness mode and just sending love from the heart when you're in a heart-centered space, but also doing it for yourself too, because this is so important, that even though I'm sharing this and we've got a lot of this humanity energy, we got to go to our inner global community and all the organs and systems that we run as a whole, you know, this being that is you, the light that shines inside you, that shines inside me, that is all from the greater collective consciousness. Some people might call it God, some people might call it the divine, some people might call it cosmic consciousness. All of this, you know, we are all part of this one greater thing. We are not separate. So this energy feels really strong for Virgo at this time. For Libra ascendants and moon signs, this is happening in your 5th house. It's a significator for children, romance, creation, intelligence and wisdom. And you can really see this, you know, this creative energy, the heart energy that's coming out of this Leo significator for the 5th house here. For Libra, about balance, you know, we're talking about the values and the truth. And I think Libra being this sign of balance, you know, the scales where we talk about finding balance and truth in, you know, the way that we communicate with our kids. Are we listening to them? You know, because I think at times we just go, I heard Dr. Joe Dispenza share something recently where he said that kids under the age of 1, they talk about the terrible twos, where they say, oh, it's so intense because parents have been saying no, 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 no. And then by the time they turn 2, they say no, 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 and have tantrums because we've taught them these words, because we're not listening to them or observing what are you actually doing, and just seeing them as this little human who's exploring and experiencing. Like, I've got a toddler who's just about to turn 2, and he was playing with this wooden board this morning, and he just kept throwing it on the floor, and it was because he's going, I can make a noise with that, as opposed to just doing it to be annoying or something like that, as much as I want to turn around and be like, Milo. So yeah, there's the creative energy, the intelligence and the wisdom here, so we can really look at how we're using our wisdom for leadership at this time for Libra ascendants and moon signs, and our intelligence. Romance, you might find that here too, that what kind of truths and values do you hold in your romantic life, and the ways that you're being creative in that area, because we're talking about creativity, children, romance. Childbirth is a big thing. So what are you birthing out into the world? And it sends off that energy to Aquarius as well. So definitely check out the video if you haven't seen it, because it talks all about this axis of Leo to Aquarius. For Scorpio ascendants and moon signs, this is happening in your 4th house, representing the mother, happiness, property, real estate, the subconscious mind, formal education, and the home. So you might find that there's things around the house that you're just like, I no longer feel this to be aligned with my greatest sense of truth, or maybe having a conversation with your mum and listening. And I don't have this going on in my 4th house at the moment, but I know that my mum, I had to do a lot of listening today to something that was quite near and dear for her, and a new belief system that was coming through for her, and supporting her in that space. Or people that symbolize mothers in our life, you know, this mother energy that's out in the world. What's true for your happiness? I think this is huge, you know, and the heart in the home, you know, where is, how do you lead in your own home, and how can you bring more heart energy into the home, so that for the people that are in your surroundings, or whether there are people that live with you, whether it be family or friends or whatnot, given what's going on in the world at the moment, how can you create more of this heart energy at home so that you are living in alignment with your greatest truth? For Sagittarius ascendants and moon signs, this is happening in your 3rd house, represented by brothers, younger siblings, the arts. We've got music, dance and drama here, courage and adventure, hand-based skills, and short journeys. So you might find that this ability to look at leadership and the heart energy with how we're communicating with younger siblings. How can we use the arts and creativity to take courage into the world and help and share it with others? How can you use your hand-based skills to bring more heart energy and bring your value? So you might be writing things about what you value, or changing things out. And funnily enough, my moon is in Sagittarius, and this is me sharing, you know, taking courage and adventuring into new terrains with sharing these videos this year. But in particular with this one, how maybe I could do a dance at the end of this video and share that, but where I, you know, type it out, and I'm creating the chart and sharing this information with the world, so that I can take my beliefs and values in alignment with the yogas and all this stuff, so that you can help support others on their journey as the greater whole. And doing your best to come into the heart center with that particular energy is really important. Capricorn ascendants and moon signs, this is happening in your 2nd house of money, family life, domestic harmony, food and diet, intellect, speech and writing, jewelry and clothing, and material wealth. So wealth that you can hold and things like that, as opposed to going in the bank. So for Capricorn ascendants and moon signs, noticing that, okay, similar to, you know, in the home, but your family life, how can we use more of that heart energy? How can we be a leader and take our beliefs and values? And like I shared in the video, saying that, you know, going into witness mode and noticing the belief systems that are within the family. Maybe you feel that you're no longer aligned with something, or going into listening mode and being prepared to hold space for another person, so that you can be there for them even if you don't agree. And somebody recently who's very intelligent taught me, they said that if you don't agree with something and you find it quite challenging, just say, that's a very interesting opinion, because you're not challenging them on it, but you can hold space for them. And if it's very intense, you can walk away from it too, but do it in a loving space as opposed to, in a huff with this Mars energy. And around your money too, you might want to be asking, like, how can I, the ways that you create money and what you value in your life. Because like I shared in the video, that once you've got all the money in the world, then what happens after that? And being aware of this procession of the zodiac signs moving towards enlightenment, and how we can use right action in service to humanity for the greater good, so that we can come to a place of moksha and enlightenment and no longer have this karma that we keep on creating and coming back into a physical body. For Aquarius ascendants and moon signs, this is happening in your first house. So this is big. It's reshaping your thought processes at this time. I've got a family member who's an Aquarius ascendant and saw a big transformation that happened for them today, and just noticing, what do I no longer value? What's going to be new for me after today? And again, this energy of the full moon, it happens a couple of days before, a couple of days after, and it kind of moves on until the new moon. You might noticing happening at different times for you, but health and vitality is a huge thing. Noticing where do you feel that this is what is contributing to greater health or not greater health for yourself, and what needs to shift and change so that you can live a healthier lifestyle with more vitality. And maybe taking a look at early childhood issues if they're coming up as well, because that's definitely there in your own character, and questioning, okay, am I using my heart energy out in the world, and how can I use it for the greater good? But also, when I say early childhood issues, if you've got hidden fear or pain that's stored and you're noticing that it's coming out in your communication, taking a look at how to support yourself through that. And I definitely find that, and this energy of Aquarius, is that coming into these groups is so important, especially with this 5D ascension that's going on. Like-minded souls that can help support you in that journey is going to be really strong, especially for Aries ascendants and Aquarius ascendants and moon signs at this particular time with this full moon. Pisces ascendants and moon signs, finally, this is happening in your 12th house of enlightenment, sleep. It also comes under bed pleasures, expenditures, confusion, sorrow, confinement, seclusion, loss. It's also next life, and moksha. So we've got a letting go here, and like I said, this dance of creation and destruction that we've got, Nataraj, the dancing Shiva dancing around the chart. What are we letting go of? If you take a look in your own life and see what is dissipating around you, the burning tower where something is crumbling to the ground, and just being aware of, okay, when the space is cleared. And I don't know if I shared this in the other video, but saying that Aquarius is the water bearer, where it's literally just washing away the path clear. And after that is creation. So for Pisces ascendants, if you're finding that it's a time of sadness or letting go, or something is being dissolved, just remember that on the other side of the storm is rainbow and clouds. Less clouds, more rainbows. And thinking about your values and how you want to start creating new things out in the world, and the heart path that you want to be walking, and beating to your own drum leadership out in the world. So that's my ascendants and moon signs reading for this month for Aquarius. It's been a big month. Next month, like I said, we've got the new moon coming up. I believe it's on the 7th of September. And that will be in Leo, in Purva Falguni Nakshatra, that we've got this Mars and Mercury energy as well. And I'll share more of that at that time. I shared in the last video that I'm going to be putting up an Ascendant series ebooks on my website soon, so that for those of you that are aware of your Ascendants, you can find out more about your personal journey in this lifetime, because each of us, when we come through with a specific Ascendant, we've got these similar themes that you'll notice that are coming through for each and every one of us, and the path that we're here to be learning at this time, and it will help give you a bit more clarity in that. And if you don't know what your Ascendant is without getting a chart reading done, you can message me and I can tell you what that is. And then if you want to get the ebook so that you can learn more about yourself through there. Sending lots of love and light to you at this time. Be gentle with yourself, and again, remember to come into the heart and support yourself and the greater community with your creations, because we're creative people. You know, I believe that through astrology, and I believe this now more than I ever have, that our one true mission here is to learn how to manipulate energy and create out in the world our desires, because when we no longer have desires and we no longer have karma, there is no reason to continue incarnating as human beings. So when we learn to create you know, heaven on earth and this paradise here, the perspective that we choose to hold can create heaven, or, you know, this not so nice energy that can be associated with it. So creating your own energy at this time, beating to your own drum. Check out the other video if you haven't already, and I'll leave it in the description below. Lots of love and light to you. Namaste.